The sun hung low in the sky, casting a warm golden glow over the swimming pool, its surface shimmering like liquid glass. I was lounging on a float, eyes closed, the gentle lapping of the water soothing as I soaked in the sun. The peaceful moment was interrupted by the sound of footsteps approaching. "Hey kiddo," my stepdad called out, a teasing little in his voice. I opened my eyes to see him standing at the edge of the pool, his toned body glistening in the sunlight, a playful grin on his face. He wore snug swim trunks that accentuated his physique, and I felt a flutter of excitement. "Hey, Dad, are you coming in?" I replied, tilting my head back, trying to keep my voice light even though my heart raced. "Maybe I will," he said, a mischievous glint in his eyes, "but you'll have to catch me first." With that, he dove into the pool, the splash sending waves across the surface. I couldn't help but laugh, my excitement bubbling over as I kicked off the float and swam towards him. The cool water felt invigorating against my skin, the sun warming my back as I chased after him. He was surprisingly fast, gliding through the water effortlessly. "You think you can catch me?" he teased, glancing back with a playful smirk. "Just wait," I called out, determination fueling my strokes as I finally closed the gap between us. I lunged forward, grabbing his arm and pulling him closer. "Got you," he laughed, the sound rich and warm as he spun around to face me. "All right, you win this time," he said, his voice softening as our faces hovered inches apart. The tension in the air shifted, electric and undeniable. I could feel his warmth radiating toward me, the intensity of his gaze locking onto mine. "You're getting better," he murmured, a hint of admiration lacing his tone. "Thanks, Dad, I've been practicing," I replied, my heart racing not just from swimming. He stepped closer, the water lapping around our legs, and the intimacy of the moment sent a thrill through me. No, I always wanted to teach you how to swim better," he said, his voice low and smooth. "Maybe we could practice together more often," I suggested, my breath hitching slightly as I felt the chemistry between us intensify. "Yeah, I'd like that," he replied, his eyes flickering down to my lips for just a moment before meeting my gaze again. "You've grown up so much." There was something deeper in his eyes now, a yearning that stirred something inside me. I took a half step closer, my pulse quickening. "I feel like I've been missing out on time with you." His expression softened and he brushed a damp strand of hair behind my ear, his fingers lingering against my skin. "I feel the same way." Before I could overthink it, I leaned in slightly and our lips brushed together softly, an innocent kiss that felt electrifying. It was hesitant at first, but the moment hung thick with tension, and as our mouths met again, the kiss deepened. I felt his hands finding my waist, pulling me closer, the warmth of his body igniting a fire within me. When we finally pulled back, both of us breathless, I searched his eyes, looking for a sign of hesitation, but all I saw was desire mirrored in his gaze. "What just happened?" I breathed, a mix of excitement and uncertainty coursing through me. "I don't know," he admitted, stepping back slightly but keeping his hands on my waist, his thumbs gently brushing my skin. "But I can't pretend it didn't feel amazing," I nodded, my heart racing. It did. There was an undeniable chemistry swirling around us, and I felt emboldened. "Maybe we shouldn't fight it." He looked torn for a moment, but then he leaned in closer, his breath warm against my cheek. "You really want this more than anything," I whispered, feeling a rush of boldness. "Let's not over," he smiled, the warmth in his eyes returning our light, and he closed the distance between us again, capturing my lips in a passionate kiss that ignited every nerve ending in mark. body with hands moved to my back pillow, and closer, the water swirling around us as we melted into each other. Other I wrapped my arms around his neck, deepening the kiss as I lost myself in the moment. Every touch sent sparks flying, every caress igniting a desire I hadn't known was there. I felt alive, the thrill of the forbidden coursing through me as our kisses grew more urgent. Breaking the kiss, I looked up at him, breathless. What if someone sees us? Let them, he murmured, his lips brushing against mine, igniting a fresh wave of longing. I want you and I'm tired of hiding it. His words sent a thrill through me, and I leaned in, capturing his lips again with more intensity. The world around us faded, leaving only the two of us tangled in our own desires. His hand explored my body, pulling me even closer as the water enveloped us, the heat of our connection contrasting with the coolness of the pool. Do you really mean that? I asked between kisses, my heart pounding. Absolutely, he breathed, his voice thick with emotion. I've wanted this for so long. Our kisses grew more heated, and I felt a sense of urgency surging between us. I could feel the weight of our choices, but in that moment nothing else mattered. I pulled him closer, my body fitting perfectly against his as we moved in sync, lost in the whirlwind of emotions as the sun dipped lower, casting a warm glow around us. I whispered, let's not stop. He nodded, a fire igniting in his eyes as he leaned in for another kiss, and we both surrendered to the moment, the world outside fading away. I could feel the connection between us deepening, the passion igniting something new and exciting that I knew we could no longer ignore. This was just the beginning, and I was ready to explore whatever lay ahead, with him by my side as our lips met again. The world around us blurred into a hazy backdrop, consumed by the intensity of our connection. Each kiss was more urgent than the last, a desperate longing pouring from us as we explored this uncharted territory. Together I could feel his heart racing beneath my fingertips as I traced my hands over his strong shoulders and down his arms. The sensation sent a wave of heat coursing through me, igniting a fire that pulsed with every touch. The cool water embraced us, a stark contrast to the warmth building between our bodies. Let's move to the shallow end, I suggested breathlessly, my voice barely above a whisper. I want to feel closer to you. He nodded, his eyes dark with desire, and together we made our way to the edge of the pool where the water was warmer and the air was thick with anticipation. I climbed onto the pool's edge, feeling the smooth tile against my skin, and he followed, his body inching closer to mine. Is this okay? He asked, his voice low, as he slid beside me, our shoulders touching. I could see the uncertainty in his eyes, but the longing was undeniable. It's more than okay, I replied, my heart racing. I want this. With a hesitant smile he reached out, brushing a strand of hair from my face before leaning in. Again this kiss was different, softer yet charged with a simmering intensity. One melted into him, our lips moving in perfect harmony, a sweet rhythm that echoed the beating of our hearts. As the kiss deepened I could feel his hands on my waist pulling me closer, the warmth radiating from him like a flame. I reveled in the sensation, my body responding instinctively to his touch. I felt bold, daring to lean into the moment as I wrapped my arms around his neck, feeling the strength in his arms as he held me close. You feel so good, he murmured against my lips, his breath warm and inviting. I could sense the yearning in his voice, a reflection of my own desires. You have no idea how long I've wanted this, I admitted, my voice barely above a whisper. The words slipped out before I could